Okay, we're gonna head down into this wash behind me, hike up it between these mountains, and see what we find. There's something coming up here through the trees. Old wreck. Yeah. Old abandoned car. It's been here for a while. It doesn't look that old. Probably from the late mid 90s, early 2000s. Actually, it looks like it could be an old Jeep, a compact Jeep. Huh. You find a few of these out here. A lot of times they're stolen and just driven out here and abandoned and then found later and just left because it just isn't worth getting it out of a situation like this and hauling it back in. But you never know. I can hear some bees. I gotta kind of figure out generally where. And then get out of that area. I think it's right over there. Yeah, I definitely think that's it. That's where the bees are, because I'm gonna take this route, and it looks like this is a game trail, so the animals are avoiding that area too. Yeah, there it is. Right there. 40 yards away from it, so I think I heard it. We're just gonna move on. You also have to listen for snakes, particularly out here in these washes. They are attracted to areas with small rodents, and there's lots of them out here. They typically do their hunting at night, but They come out and lay in the sun on the warm rocks during the day to warm up their bodies. You won't see them typically, and you don't want to come up on them and surprise them. But if they hear you or see you, they will make a noise. They don't want anything to do with you either. So I listen for any type of movement at all, and of course any rattles. This is interesting to find this out here. Clearly it came down the wash. Definitely an interesting find this far back in the desert. Perhaps this was sitting in somebody's yard. It blew out of their yard and into the desert. Finally blew itself into a wash and then carried itself all the way to this point. But that's a pretty good haul because there isn't much of anything around here. So, well, we'll never know. Huh. Interesting area, but I can definitely see bees. I'm gonna turn around and go the other way here. But they're coming in and out of that hole right there. You can probably see them. Don't want to go anywhere near that. Little animal cave in there. Some more. Very interesting. So this is pretty interesting. It's a nice little home that some small animals have made. You can kind of see in there. I don't see any animals in there now. They might be in there. They might be out looking for food. But what's interesting is that it's made out of cholla cactus. Those are all cholla cactus. This is what it looks like there. Still a lot of thorns on them. There's some other stuff in there. Works as a nice area to live, as well as some protection. Kind of coming up on this. Looks like a pretty good cave back in there. It goes in there a ways. Probably can't even see all the way back in there. That's an animal den. Probably javelina, though they tend to kind of bed down in the open. Yeah, we're out here between these ridges. It's mountains. It's very quiet. That's a beautiful saguaro there. Right below it is the skeleton of a large saguaro, probably about the same size. But for those that don't know, that's what the inside looks like of one of those. Okay, well, we've been out here for a while. I can actually see a trail right up there. I'm gonna climb up and try to catch that down between the mountains here. This little pass But I'm gonna walk over by these saguaros. I can see some interesting things going on. Right there. And right there. So we'll walk up that way and take a look. Okay. You got a dead saguaro. It's still standing. But it's kind of interesting to see. Like that. Turns into that, and then eventually falls down and disintegrates back into the earth. It's a good sized arm right there. Another one up at the very top. Looks like there's some down here. This is pretty hardy wood. Give you some idea of the strength of the inside of these magnificent plants. This was a big one. I could see one right up here that looks recently fallen. I'll walk up there and take a look. Just working our way back up this hill. No game trail or anything. Some cholla cactus. Looks like you got quite a few. Yeah, almost stepped on that. That one's really something. Quite a few of them up here. Alright, well this is where we were heading, right here. But I just spotted this down here. It's even more recent. I think that these cactus have fallen over because of the wind. They're pretty hardy, but the wind is usually the thing that knocks them over as they get older and more heavier on the top. Yeah, this one's relatively new. Looks like it snapped off right there. Definitely wind. Sometimes the ground will get wet and a wind will pull it over like you would see with a normal tree. But that one looks like it broke off. It's recent. And this one was a big one and a very old one. These arms they grow for balance generally, and they say typically they don't even begin to grow arms until they're approaching 50 to 100 years old. So this guy's been around for a while. It's too bad. It's a beautiful cactus. All right, well, looks like there's another one right there. Let's go up and look at it. Okay. It's another one that looks like it just snapped off. This one was a very big one. Look at this. Look at the length of those arms. Wow. Here's another one. It's 10 feet. A couple of them over there are probably closer to 15, almost maybe 20 feet. This was tall, very tall. Whole another section of it over here. Yeah. Looks like this was one. Just another offshoot. I bet you this was magnificent, notwithstanding. Now, I'm gonna head right up here in this little saddle, try to pop off on the other side and get back somewhat close to where I started. Well, this was a very nice hike up these washes here. I'm in the Sonoran Preserve, and there's some hiking trails in this area, but very few people go through these washes. So it's beautiful, undisturbed. Some interesting things. A lot of people don't go through these washes. It's a different hike. You have to be a little bit more aware of where you're walking, what you're stepping on. You have to listen for things that you wouldn't normally spend as much time listening for. We saw that today with the bees. Didn't see any snakes, but they're out here. There's no question about that. So, well, I hope you enjoyed this. Learned a little bit of something about some of these beautiful desert areas that we have here in the high Sonoran Desert.